What's good? What's good? Welcome back, my Souls of Thought family. It's your boy Norris, and we back again for another weekly review. I want to appreciate everybody who tuned in to the Grown Folks Business last Wednesday. We're going to actually be dropping some of those broken down topics. I just want to say thank you to everyone who continues to support the channel, support what we're doing here at Souls of Thought. This is a platform to open up your minds, not just your opinions. We're here to listen to everyone. Everyone has a voice here. We're not here to judge. We're here to let people be who they are. Again, I appreciate my Souls of Thought family. I need to come up with like a some type of name for my Souls of Thought. Like I don't know if it'll be Souls of Thought Clan, some the Soulsies. You guys put in the comments what you want our name to be for the people who support Souls of Thought. With that being said, I always want to tell you guys to make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share. And if you want to know every time that I'm going live or any time that I drop a video, make sure you hit that notifications bell and it'll let you know when I'm going up. So we're going to do something a little bit different today, something I wanted to start presenting every time that I go live. I want to present this, and we're going to do what we call the quote of the day. Yes, we're going to be doing the quote of the day. So today's quote of the day is: everyone wants to roll, but no one wants to remember their lines. Let me read that one more time to you for the quote of the day for April the 21st. Everyone wants to roll, but no one wants to remember their lines. And for that quote of the day, to explain to you guys that everybody in life wants a certain role, but nobody wants to take the extra time out to remember their lines, to do the things that are required for that role, and then also they don't understand that it takes a lot to keep your role. So if you're out there, if this quote hits you, if the shoe fit, wears it, as they say. But the quote of the day today for April the 21st, 2025 is: everyone wants the role, but no one wants to remember their lines. So in the comments, make sure y'all rank that quote. Let me know what you think about that quote of the day. I think it's a very good one. These quotes are going to be my own personal quotes, so they aren't coming from anyone. So, if you don't like it, let me know. We're trying to get like a top 25 list. You know what I mean? So we'll do that there. So again, I'm also doing something new, guys. I'm actually going live on TikTok as we speak while I'm live here. So they're going to be able to hear some of my thoughts and hear about the show as well. With that being said, we're going to get this thing rolling, and hope everybody's having a good week. Hope everybody's doing well. And this show's gonna be probably a little touchy for some. Probably gonna be a little touchy for some. We're gonna talk about a lot of topics today. Um, we're live, but everything wants to do what it wants to do today. So actually gonna be starting off, we're gonna be talking about the good old Kevin Gates and Savannah. For all of you that wasn't aware, we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to go from there. So see here, we're going to go from there and talk about a little bit, let you guys hear what's going on here. Let's see here, get this on up here. So I don't know how many of you guys are living on the bush, but Savannah James, all them went back and forth. So we're going to be talking about that first. I want to hear y'all opinions and thoughts. So let's get it.
Man. So today's video, we got to talk about Kevin Gates and this weird video he put out talking about LeBron James and Savannah James. And it's looking like LeBron had some time on his hand, man, and he had clapped back at Kevin Gates. LeBron James responded to the video of Kevin Gates talking bad about LeBron James and his wife, Savannah James. Let's check out this clip right here, then I'll follow up with some more commentary. Let's check out this video of what Kevin Gates said about Savannah James. Here's that clip right here.
I'm like, man, he one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Right.
But I wouldn't want to trade places with him. And they was like, why not? Why you wouldn't want to play? I say, because I don't like the way Savannah look at LeBron. I like the way them white women look at LeBron. Like when soon as he walk out there, they just be like, oh, they be dicked out. But it's like I noticed when he go do the handshake with the main player on his team, which is that, it's like, you act like I'm bothering you, bitch. Like, I'm the greatest player in the world, one of them. Like top 5, top 10, I'm one of them. And I'm in the playoffs. And you act like the warden of the jail. Like you came here to police me. Like you ain't, like, you not dicked out like these white women just dicked out about me in here. Like, so, like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, bro. Because when I've been around that dude just, his spirit so loving and giving, it hurt me. It hurt me to see that.
So that's what Kevin Gates said about LeBron James' wife, Savannah James. People were caught off guard by the video. It was like, for one, why is he even using LeBron James and Savannah James as an example? And I want to show you guys a video of Savannah James' podcast when LeBron James had called in. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want you guys to pay attention to Savannah James' body language and how she looked when LeBron James called in. Let's check out that clip right here.
What's your name? Where are you calling us from? And what's your holiday crazy?
What's going on? LeBron James. I'm from Akron, Ohio. And
you sound like
holiday
Santa for a
Sexy.
second. I know. It was giving Santa
Sexy
Claus.
Santa.
What's going on, LeBron James? What you got for us?
What's your holiday crazy? Best gift, worst gift?
No, my holiday crazy is your co-host, April.
Oh,
Me?
Okay, so the reason why I wanted to show you guys that clip of Savannah James' podcast with LeBron James calling in is because you can see Savannah James was bubbly when LeBron James called in. She was happy, she was giggling and stuff like that, right? You can definitely tell that she was happy that her husband called in. And, you know, they just have a good, solid friendship like that. And we also got to keep in mind that they've been together for over 20 years, right? So I want to show you guys LeBron James' response to Kevin Gates. If you guys stuck around this long already, hit that thumbs up button. It really does help support my YouTube channel. So LeBron James put out this picture right here. Look at how Savannah James is looking at him. So this is definitely a clap back response at Kevin Gates and what Kevin Gates said in that video. And yeah, man, LeBron James purposely put this picture out with the caption saying, "Kings don't concern themselves with the opinions of peasants. Where to next, Queen?"
So as you see there, we're going to definitely shout out the person that I use there for the content. We always make sure that we put the person that we utilize for their content. But as you see there, you had Kevin Gates. Kevin Gates actually came back with another video as well where he talked about, he responded again. I feel like Kevin Gates is doing this all out of fun nature, but you know, some people could take things out of context. With that being said, what if it was true though? What if LeBron does get a different form of energy from the white ladies? What if? What if Kevin Gates is actually speaking the truth here and people just don't want to hear the truth? How would that make people feel? Because I'm going to tell you this. Sometimes what they say, you'll know the person by the fruits that they bear, or you could tell people by their fruits, and their sons don't associate with a lot of African American women. And that's something that we don't want to talk about. We don't talk about the type of young ladies that Bronny and Bryce normally date. I want to say Bryce was with like a mixed one, but I know for sure Bronny went to homecoming and everything with and prom, if I'm not mistaken. He went there with what was it? With the white young lady. So I always tell people, you know, a lot of times they say people want to, a lot of young men want to actually date women who kind of remind them of their mother. And in that case, you don't really see that. If you guys go back and watch any of my content, you will see my thoughts on how I feel about dating outside your race. The reason why I feel like it's very important to dabble outside of your race before sticking yourself in the box and only saying that you only support certain things. So that's something I would really, really, really tell people is to enjoy life, man. I think that's what Kevin Gates is most important in talking about is make sure you go where you are not just tolerated, but loved. What they say, what's that term everybody uses or that phrase everybody's use? Go where you're appreciated, not where you're tolerated. And I think that's one of the things that he was really trying to get into play there and let people know. With that being said, just wanted to start it off with, something different, quote of the day, something more humorous before we get into the weeds of things. And I don't know if you guys been paying attention to the other person that shouldn't be talking for people. But I don't know if you guys been paying attention to Dominique Alexander, who is the spokesman for I think it's the Next Generation Network. He's been the spokesman for the Anthony family. We all know what has happened with Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. And I'm just gonna actually share a video with you guys, and then we're gonna talk about the video, and then we're gonna also just kind of play some devil's advocate here, see what people are thinking about what's going on. So just something to think about here. We're gonna throw this up here. I know my boy Plug said he ain't messing with Officer Tatum anymore. Officer Tatum does put out some different information here and there, but this was one of the best clips I could find when talking about certain things. So we're going to play that so you guys can hear it.
Statement on one of my videos to tell Metcalf's father, quit capitulating to these black people because they secretly despise and hate white people and want revenge for what they believe is still a wrong way back in slavery.
Stunning developments and a tragic story out of Texas that grabbed attention across America. I'm talking about the fatal stabbing of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a Frisco, Texas track meet, allegedly at the hands of 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony. Now, since the incident on April 2nd, details and events surrounding this story have been unbelievable. Here's the latest. Jeff Metcalf, Austin's father, was targeted by a swatting call last night. Frisco police say officers responded to a gunshot call at Metcalf's home. No one was home at the time, but Jeff arrived 5 minutes later. All of this happening after that despicable scene yesterday where he was escorted by police out of the press conference held by Carmelo Anthony's family. My next guest has been following all of these developments closely. He's former Tucson police officer and host of the Officer Tatum Show. It's Brandon Tatum. Brandon, thanks for being with us here today. You've been following this story closely. It only seems to get more wild and, quite honestly, more abhorrent by the day.
Yeah, well, thank you for.
So as you see there, if you guys are paying attention to what's going on, last week was the first time that Carmelo Anthony, mother and father, was out in the public. The mother actually spoke. Mr. Anthony didn't say anything. With that being said, Dominique Alexander is their spokesman from the Next Generation Network. If you guys haven't seen, he has a very, 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 very long rap sheet. Maybe I'll pull it up while we're going through this segment. With that being said, he has a very, very long rap sheet. And sometimes your representation can be the thing that kills you. So, and some people will say, your reputation will precede you. So sometimes your representation will get to the location before you do. And I think that's what has happened here with Dominique Alexander, and then with the Carmelo Anthony family. This is my opinion. This is my take on what should have happened when Jeff Metcalf, the father of Austin Metcalf, when he arrived to that Next Generation public announcement or speech that they were doing for the first time, when he was there, I could understand them removing him from the area just because some people might think from more of a safety standpoint. With that being said, I think before they removed him, if I was the Carmelo Anthony family, I would have embraced Mr. Metcalf and seen what type of Christian he was, because that's what he's displaying himself as. Like we said, we all don't know who's who right now. There's still a lot coming out with this case. There's still a lot of evidence, I'm sure, that hasn't been dropped yet. But if I was the family, I would have went up to him, paid my respects for the loss of his son, and hope to have some type of back and forth dialogue in the future where we can sit down and kind of talk about things, because Mr. Metcalf did say he forgave Carmelo Anthony for what he's done. So I feel like you should give him that opportunity, that grace, and the same grace he has given you. Also, if you guys been living under a rock, there's been a January 6er guy who's tried to go to Frisco, Texas this past weekend and caused pretty much a racial divide, which Jeff Metcalf, again, Austin dad, got on the phone publicly. It's recorded. And he talks about that he did not want this to happen. He doesn't want race to be the issue here. And like he said, you know, that gentleman was the part of the problem. So we're going to play a little bit more and just going to continue to get our opinions on this.
For having me on, and it is very despicable what we've seen so far, and it just speaks to the underlying underbelly of racism that still exists in this country, perpetuated by Black people, in my personal opinion. I made a statement on one of my videos to tell Metcalf's father, quit capitulating to these Black people because they do not want to be your friend. A lot of them who are associated with this incident, that's giving money in the GoFundMe, who's representing the family, they secretly despise and hate white people and want revenge for what they believe is still a wrong.
I do not agree with what Officer Tatum is saying right here. We're playing the video. Again, I thought it was a good video overall, just kind of giving the background. But I don't believe that. I don't believe everyone is capitulating. I don't feel like everyone is feeling that way. I just feel like there are certain groups of people who support certain sides. And the reason why I'm doing this and giving those people some grace is because, you know, it was the same thing I was asking for when I came out and let people know I was conservative, that I was supporting President Trump. It's the same grace that I will give to people that I would want people to give to me. So I don't feel like it's people just capitulating. I feel like it's a bunch of people with emotions running and everybody's supporting the side that they feel is right. And that's what's happening right now.
Way back in slavery. So it is turning south as the capitulation continues. But another thing that I find is going to be very problematic is that you have people that are pushing disinformation that makes it appear that this is a self-defense claim. And I do not think that this kid has a chance at self-defense, which is going to be horrible for him at the end of the day.
That does seem to be what the claim will be made when it gets to the court. But in the public opinion or in the public sphere, Brandon, you're right. We're already seeing comparisons made. In fact, Dominic Alexander did it yesterday at that press conference. He made comparisons to, for example, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, that has to be the most asinine thing that you can even try to express. Kyle Rittenhouse was attacked. He was chased down, cornered. A guy tried to take his weapon. He shot him. Another person tried to use a deadly weapon against him, which was a skateboard at the time. He ended up shooting him, and another person pulled a gun on him. And what else could he have done but protect himself lawfully in a place that he belonged? This is a very different situation. You have a young man who brought a knife to a track meet, which is already illegal, bringing a knife on the premise of a sporting event.
And as I mentioned in my previous video, and I also did like a little 8-minute monologue, is that I feel like us as a Black culture are starting to use comparison as our currency, and that's not going to get us far. We're never going to be on the equal playing scale. We know this. I don't understand why it's hard for people to accept it. I think acceptance is the first steps to moving forward. That's in anything in life. That's just like going to AA and you're an alcoholic. The first step you have to do is accept. You have to accept that you're an alcoholic. And I feel like in today's culture, today's society, we need to accept where we stand in certain people's eyes, because it's not everybody. Not every white person is racist. Not every white person wants to put you behind the curb. With that being said, we still need to accept where we are as a race, where we are as a culture, and make sure that we're living above and beyond that, and then supporting each other.
And then you have the person Obviously, with the evidence that we have so far, is premeditating a stabbing because he has his hands in the bag and he's telling them, touch me and see what happens. You only need a split second to develop premeditation. So if you have a plan that you're going to use a weapon against somebody, before you use the weapon, that's premeditation. And not utilizing equal force against a person is another uphill battle for him. Someone pushing you does not necessitate you to use deadly force against them. In no world is that legal, especially not in the state of Texas.
Let me ask you a question, in your opinion, Brandon, of Dominique Alexander. That press conference, I think we both agree, was absolutely appalling. He managed to butcher not just regular English grammar, but he managed to butcher the facts, for example, of Kyle Rittenhouse case. How does someone with not just his inabilities, but his criminal record become a voice in the public eye for someone like the family of Carmelo Anthony?
Will, this is just a continuation of the manipulation from black leaders to just pimp out these families for money. This man is not qualified whatsoever. And I can put my life on it that the defense team is literally want to throw up thinking about this guy litigating or putting information out in the public, and he's an idiot. He can't even say defense. What did he say? Self-defense. The other day he said self-defense.
All right, so we know what he's about to do now. He's about to kind of go into, saying jokes. I'm not here for that portion of it, but I will let you guys know that there's a lot of history with Dominique Alexander, a lot of crime history, a lot of things that are really standing out that's going to really affect, I think in the long run, it's going to affect the young man more. It's going to affect Carmelo Anthony. It's going to affect everything that he's trying to do to give him the best opportunity. With that being said, it's up to the family to deal with what they're dealing with, to handle it the way they want to handle it. With that being said, I feel like Alexander, the one who is actually putting a lot of race out there, a lot of things in the way that's really affecting a lot of people. I would really encourage him to focus more on trying to defend his client, which again, I do agree with Officer Tatum that it won't be self-defense. With that being said, that's going to be up to him, up to the world to decide. It's not going to be up to any of us. It's going to be up to the world and the jury to decide. With that being said, if you guys haven't seen, I'm going to show you guys the actual clip of Jeff Metcalf actually trying to settle down this foolishness here. So let me show you guys this.
Why can't you stand that and say with that? Maybe you can. Would you be willing to stand by me in a press conference or in an individual interview and talk about this issue that is larger than Austin at this point? God rest the beautiful young man's soul that would have been one of our strongest voices if he was still alive today. Yes, I am, sir.
My turn to speak. You are part of my friend. You're trying to create more race divide than bridging the gap. I do not condone anything you do. You do not have any.
That's called white guilt.
No, let it talk. My son, let me finish. I give you your time. You take my son's face off your website. I am not associated with you.
You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir.
So as you see there, that is the January 6er, Jake Lane, who came to Frisco, Texas, trying to cause a lot of issues, try to bring a lot of race division, which we don't need any of that. But as you can see there, Jeff Metcalf, the father of Austin Metcalf, was like, hey, we don't need this. We don't need the racial divide. That's not what we're here for. And people could say what they want. I know Mr. Metcalf had like a domestic violence charge, if I'm not mistaken, years ago, which people pulled up on it and talking about him on TikTok and other things. With that being said, the character that he's displaying, I don't understand how people can have some empathy. And I want to talk about these two words before I go on too far. empathy and sympathy are two different things. I hear these words used incorrectly so much. Having empathy is somebody understanding something but not putting themselves in the place. It's kind of like you kind of talking back to the person, letting them know that you could understand that that could be frustrating, and you're offering some type of like help or assistance or some ways to cope. Sympathy, meaning you're sympathizing with this person. That means that you are telling this person that you can actually feel what they're feeling. You actually know how they're feeling. You've been in that situation. We can't sympathize with anyone. We only can empathize. And that's one of the biggest things I learned working in the mental health field is that you never have sympathy for people. You have empathy. So we need to empathize with Jeff Metcalf, the father of Austin Metcalf, and allow him some grace, man, because everything he's doing so far is showing very, very, very high character. I don't see how someone could look at that in any other way. With that being said, like I told people, everybody know how I feel. I feel Karmelo is guilty. He's gonna get some form of charge. It might not be murder, could be manslaughter, could be second, all, but he's gonna get found guilty of killing Austin Metcalf. Period. Point blank. We know that. And I feel right now we just need to have grace for both sides so that we can move forward as a community. And when I mean a community, I mean as a whole, black, white, everyone be able to move forward. I feel like this is just another way for them to divide us, and it's working. And I want people to really understand what's going on here. This is all in the plan of things. So people got to be very careful with the things that we allow to change our opinions or sway our thoughts about certain things, because it's very easy to do. But just something to think about there. With that being said, want you guys to just really pray for the Metcalf family, pray for the Anthony family, because as I continue to mention to everyone, we're losing two young men, not just one. One's going to be lost to the system, which is going to be Anthony, and not just the prison system, just mentally. Everything he trust me, he's seen everything that's going on social media. He's seen everything that's being said. He's going to see both sides of the fence too. So who knows how it's going to sway his mind as he gets older and start to go through life. So just have grace, have empathy for both families, and I pray that the best outcome, which God knows what the best outcome, we don't, and I pray that for the Metcalf and Anthony family. So as we're talking about families, we're going to go on to a family that is extremely hated in the sports world, especially Coach JB. He's going to probably be able to see this if somebody sends it to him. Coach JB called people like myself, prime sexuals, or he called us Colorado fanboys, which I'm cool with that. Hey, I did jump on the boat. Once Deion leaves, I'll probably leave the Colorado boat. I feel like 80% of the Colorado fan base is probably people who jumped on because of the Sanders family. But we all know in the midst of these past few weeks, we had the pro day at Colorado. We had all the NFL call-by. We had all this stuff going on. But one of the big things that everybody's debating right now is the retirement of Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter's jersey at Colorado. So we're going to be using Coach JB and Mike and Matt Chesney. Is it Matt Chesney? I think his name is. He's actually a previous player at alumni player at Colorado. He was a big time lineman there. I think he played both sides of the ball, if I'm not mistaken. Then you're going to have Coach JB. I apologize ahead of time for the language because Coach JB is who he is. Got to give my boy Smitty a shout out because as Coach JB said, they'll call him Smitty his boy, this and that. Smitty, my boy, man. He brings the very even keel personality to the show. With that being said, we're gonna pull up this clip here so that everybody can see what I'm speaking of here. Let's see here. So this is the Coach JB show, Big Smitty at the bottom. and we're going to start it off. And that's Big Matt in the middle. So they're going to be talking about the retirement of Jersey, and I'm going to give you guys my opinion after you get to hear that. We won't play the whole 22 minutes. We'll kind of play some parts.
Colorado retirement thing.
Here you go. Change my tone, which means
since you left my show and you went to your show, did you change your tone? I'm hearing rumors.
I got way more information on what actually happened. So, all right. So,
all right, break it down.
I talked to Westbrook and Cordell for a long time about this after your show, I think the day after. And Westbrook called Prime right after we got off the phone because they were hot. And, you know, I'm trying to like get all the information and, you know, gave my opinion and yada, yada, yada. And so he called Prime, and Prime, you know, said that this was Rick George's idea. And Rick came to him 8 months ago about this and talked to him about it. And then Prime was reluctant to do it at first, but then, you know, of course, Travis won the Heisman. That's a no-brainer. I don't know how you can even debate whether he should be retired. And Shedeur won the Maxwell and the Johnny Unitas, first time that's ever been done. So he decided to do it now. And Westbrook was like, yo, why the timing? There's so many other guys that should be retired, yada, yada, yada. Which isn't on Prime, by the way. He wasn't the coach then. I don't know why he's responsible for that. And Prime said to him straight, look, if you would have been playing for me at that time, your jersey would have been retired this fast too. Why do I have to wait around just because it hasn't been done like this doesn't mean we can't do it like this. So once again, Coach Prime is setting the tone. And I look, both of them, Travis especially, are retireable. Should Rick George have thought about this a little bit more from a perspective of history, considering he was there when they won the national title and was part of those teams on the administrative side? I think he was the assistant athletic director. I would think he would have a little bit more foresight on this. Rick's a smart dude, and I love Rick to death, but you had to see this coming. If you press it like this is what's going to happen. The past is going to come back up. The other guys are going to wonder why, and they have every right to. It shouldn't splinter the fan base the way it did. It's not, the ex-players are not bad guys. They just want to know what's going on. And after I got this information, after Cordell got it, after Mike got it, and everybody I've talked to about it since that all played, Hannibal Navies was on my show Wednesday. I told him on the show his tone completely changed. I got Chad Brown on today at 1 with Bailey and I. See what he has to say about it. He's been very outspoken. It's not that my tone has changed. I just now see it from his perspective after having the conversation, which is all it needed. It just needed a talk. So should they make this right by retiring numbers? Maybe. I think personally retired numbers now are pretty ridiculous after really thinking about this. We're going to run out of numbers. College teams shouldn't be retiring numbers. Just like it should be if you're going to wear number 8, okay, Hannibal wore number 8, Salvo Wesley wore number 8. Hang it up and put a fucking patch on your jersey. Sal Alessi, number 8. Bam. So you feel the standard of the number. You feel the standard of 94, of 1. Of Darian Hagan's 3, of Cordell Stewart's 10, of Travis Hunter's 12, of Rashawn's 19, of Deion Figures and Shedeur Sanders 2, and Hugh Charles and all these other ballers. So I hope that everybody can understand this. What Mike and Cordell and I and others tried to do was go straight to the source, figure it out, talk like men, and move forward. That's what everybody in Buffalo country needs to do, man.
So before we go here, I didn't show you guys the previous clip, but Matt is backpedaling like he a D-back. He is backpedaling like he was so frustrated and so upset when he first heard this news. And then he came out with another show where he started to give this information and then try to tell everybody else how they need to respond. But you responded emotionally at first. And then when you got some information that made you feel better, you want everybody else to now respond the way you want them to respond. That makes no sense, Matt. Stop backpedaling. I love your show with you and Bailey, but hey, gotta call a spade a spade. You were upset when this news first transpired. It's okay to say that you were wrong, that you didn't have all the details, which you didn't. And somebody like myself, I follow these shows. I listen to Coach JB every day. I do that stuff every day. So just remember that he's backpedaling, guys. If you guys go back and watch, but we'll keep it going.
People are mad at each other over this shit, over a difference of opinion and the way it hasn't been done in the past and the way it's being done now in the new future of college football, which Coach Prime consistently is rewriting the way things are done. And people don't like it. And this is another circumstance of that. So after having all of the information, should they retire the old guy's numbers? Yes. Why wasn't it brought up before? Yada, yada, yada. I hear a lot of that. It was never proposed like this. But when Rashawn's number was retired, he had just passed. It made sense. It was 20 years. It wasn't even a question. So this is the first time it's ever been done. That's why it's being brought up like this. So there was a process that we as players didn't even know, and nobody knew if you would ever get your number retired, and it was never really talked about. It's not really talked about. It's not talked about at Ball State. People don't talk about that shit. It just kind of happens. Now, if this is going to change and they're going to put a real ring of fame in, because on the east side or on the west side of the stadium is all the unanimous consensus All-Americans and award winners. And on the west side of the stadium, there's now 6 names, and Travis and Shore, 2 of them. So if we're going to do a real ring of fame, well, hell, this is an opportunity to bring back guys and put them in the ring of fame and celebrate. This is supposed to be a good thing in the long run. It's not supposed to be this decisive from a national media perspective to everyone's opinions. I think the timing is really what set this off. People got pissed off. It happened too fast. And then Coach Prime yesterday in his own press conference kind of saying, and I'm just going to say this, and I'm not going to give my opinion on it. But when he says,
you and
I think his number should be retired, but I also think that it could have waited and they could have done this 10 years from now. I don't know the process, though. Yeah. And apparently there is no process. There are no rules. And Rick George and Coach Prime came together, and we're rolling.
You and I shared. We talked about it because we have common friends, obviously. So the couple guys that I talked to out here on the West Coast that are legends there are not happy still as of last night. They're calling bullshit, and I'm with them. I'm calling bullshit too because here's the reason.
I can see that.
And this, because so it only.
I see it from both sides, bro. 100%.
Yeah. It only like appeases the guys to go talk to them like men, like you just stated, when it benefits you. So what does Deion Figures do? He goes in and has a grown man conversation for what? You got fucked. Deion Figures got fucked. Number 2's gone forever. Like, what grown man conversation can Deion Figures have to come out there with an agreement?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I know. I'm not saying this on you. I'm just saying, like, I'm just granting. That's my take. That's my take. Like, Deion Figures got fucked here, and there's no get back from that. Number 1. Number 2, like Darian and all these other guys are like, hold up, dog. Like, this is a full-on cover-up for Deion Sanders. Like, Rick George is going to come out, of course, and protect the cash cow. Like, that's only common sense. Like if you just said it was on Deion, then come on. You know how much hate Matt McChesney just fucking took on social media when he went against the fucking regime the other day? And you imagine Deion?
So as you see there, Coach JB is talking about, because Matt at first was pissed off. So I don't know why he's starting to backpedal like a DB. And now he can see both sides of the story. With that being said, for somebody who, Coach JB likes to call us prime sexuals, or he likes to call us Colorado fanboys, the biggest thing I would tell people is that, hey, man, everybody has to do what works for them. Everybody has to do what suits them. Everybody has to do what fits what they're trying to do. I'm a big component of when it's your show, when it's your rodeo, you run the show. And do I feel that Travis Hunter jersey should be retired? Yes, because he's a Heisman winner there. Shador jersey, I think he could have waited some years, kind of like JB said. I think they could have waited some years for Shador. With that being said, we don't. Let's say if Rick George really did make the decision, we don't know how he felt or how hard it was for Rick George to actually. He probably felt like, man, I really only want to do Travis, but I don't know how Deion's going to take that. So I'm going to do both of them so I don't have to just deal with the backlash. So we don't know. We all playing hearsay, but with the information that was given, with the information that Coach Prime was able to give after the spring game, before the spring game, is that, hey, I'm coaching now. We have Rick, who is the AD now, and this is the decision we came up with. We can't affect what happened in the past. We can't change what happened in the past, but hopefully now people start to look at things a little bit different when it comes to retiring jerseys. So, I always tell people, the biggest thing is make sure that you do what's best for you when it's your time. We all want to become leaders so that we can do things different than the things that happened before us. So you got to respect that. And last but not least, we're going to end with old Wallow, man. Wallow's been dealing with a lot of backlash because of his comments he made about, Black business owners. Let's see what he got to say before I get my 2 cents. I'm gonna let you guys hear what he said before I give my 2 cents on this. Let's see here.
Us. Oh, I'm black. No black people. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Kill that shit. Either you got a good business or you don't. All that shit, don't nobody want to hear that shit. That's a hustle. Support me because I got a black business. Is your restaurant clean? Is the food good? Do you got consistent cooks? Is the material on your shit good? Stop doing that. Oh, you support the white people? No, I support consistency, baby. Yeah. Fuck about what color you is. I'm gonna spend my money. That paper, I'm gonna spend them deals where the fuck I want to spend it at. Whether it's Porsche, Ferrari, Land, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do while I'm here. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, I ain't gonna be finessed off some black shit. But one thing about it, 70% of you motherfuckers is not going to make it. I'm not no motherfucking fake ass motivational speaker that talk this dumb shit. I'm the number one nigga in the country. You know why? Y'all seen me come out of the penitentiary. I make millions and I make millionaires, baby. You understand me? I come from the ghetto.
So as you see there, Wallow from $1 Million Worth of Game, him and Gilly. Shout out to the $1 Million Worth of Game. Love their content. With that being said, Wallow was very direct about dealing with black businesses. And this is something that I think a lot of us could take a lot from, because this ain't the first time Wallow talks about this. They asked him and Gilly actually talked about this on the Pivot. They talked about how black people always want handouts. You always want a discount. You always want somebody to do something for you for free. I'm trying to get things started. And he's just saying that, 70% of those people won't even make it. And 30% of them might make it, but we know most new business lasts only a year and then they close their doors. With that being said, I will say from experience, because being in the military for 20 years, traveling the world, my last stop was DC. And I did experience a lot of successful black businesses. And I'm going to give you the reason why I feel that they're successful. One, they don't promote it like you hear most people promote it. A black-owned business. Usually when these black-owned businesses were promoted in DC, it was a certain month out of every year where the radio stations actually did it. But just outside of that, like I seen a lot of diverse communities, especially anyone who knows, you go to Baltimore, you got things like, I'm going to talk about the run clubs, right? You got like Believe in the Run. This is a white, pretty much majority of white leadership Believe in the Run, but they have a lot of black people within their unit. But then you can come to DC and do what was it? Run It. Man, what was that run club called? Was it Run It? Not Run It Up is here in Dallas. I forgot what it was, but the DC Run Club that was real big. They did a lot for the community. They were very diverse. It was a lot of black people, but they did close it off to that. And I feel like once you really promote, I'm a black owned business, you're really cutting off your clientele, your customers. That's just like a barbershop, right? You don't see a barbershop say I'm a black only barbershop, because most black barbers now know how to cut all forms of hair. You don't want to push anybody away who's a new customer, might be new in the neighborhood. I feel that's the same way with any business, because I've been to plenty hole in the wall Mexican restaurants. They don't tell you that it's Mexican owned. Like, we are the only race that feel like we need to put our race on the outside of the building. We feel like we need to let people know that we run. Hey, let your actions speak for themselves. Good food speaks for itself. Especially with social media coming along, if your company is good, the world will know about it. And if not the world, you will have your community that knows about it. Shout out to my boy Charlie Coker with UNCUT Power. Great company, great clothing company. Started off doing just knee sleeves, and then he went to like lifting belts. And before you know it, UNCUT is now running one of the top clothing lifestyle companies in the country. And you wouldn't even know about them because most of their profits come from their community. They're people who's been following Charlie since his Christian Guzman days with Alpha Elite, things of that nature. There's so many companies right now who are very successful that are black owned, but you don't know it. And I also want to leave you guys with this. If you remember my quote of the day, it said that everybody wants the role, but no one wants to remember their lines. And I want you guys to remember this before I let you go today. That company, Actively Black, go and watch his first interview on the Pivot. And go watch what he did to get his business going. And go watch what he avoided when he started his business. He didn't want people to know that it was a black man that owned an Actively Black company. But did that stop his success? Because I don't care about, it frustrated me when I heard about the story, but now, I moved past that. Hey, it happened. I'm assuming it's a good brand. I never supported it. I never bought it. So I can't give you an opinion about the brand. But with that being said, for someone to really focus so much on being black, especially when Black Panther came out, he was heavily involved in like all that stuff. He wanted to then talk about his race when he felt like it was appropriate. But prior to that, his push off the ground when he started this brand, nobody knew his name, nobody knew his face, and nobody knew his race. And he talks about this. He actively talks about this on the podcast, on Pivot, and everybody overlooked it. And I'm saying that to say this: your race does not dictate your success. Your success is dictated by your hard work, by your dedication, by your own individual merit. You have to promote it. You have to market it. You have to put everything out that needs to be put out. So I totally agree with Wallow when he talks about we got to get rid of this thinking that black owned is the most important thing that people need to know about your company, and work on consistency, work on being on time, making sure things are in stock, make sure that you're communicating with your customers, and most importantly, make sure the person that you have representing you at that front desk or at that front door represents the brand appropriately. One bad encounter, one bad incident, and all it takes for somebody to get a bad taste in their mouth about your brand, about your company. So as I leave every video, every podcast, every recording, is God loves you, which is most importantly. I love you. Excuse me. You're beautiful, and your boy's out. Let go.